yours. Amy.
Sorry.
Oh, no, Rebecca Williams.
She's doing an interview with fake news, unfortunately. Fake news.
We are fake news.
No, I know, that's the problem.
You don't think you're fake news.
You need to come to the right side and actually report the news instead of doing opinion, propaganda.
We don't do opinion, we try and do facts.
No, that's the problem. You think you do facts, but you twist everything. You don't actually know, well, the truth.
Like what? I'll tell you
about democracy, about who we represent.
I went on a programme, on a BBC documentary, and they cut what I said and pasted it together and made me sound xenophobic. I am not xenophobic. My best friend is Slovakian.
No, she's nodding her head.
I agree with people coming to this country and making a better life for themselves, but coming legally, not illegally.
You're wasting
not
your
in.
See her nodding her head, she's nodding her head, yada, yada, yada. All she's doing is thinking racist, xenophobe, racist, xenophobe. That's all she's here. She's not here, la, 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 la. Yes, you are. That's always the extreme right wing. Those are the thoughts going through her head. She's like, yeah, la, 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 la. You know, la.
Mass migration.
Honestly, it's gonna twist it. It's very sad. It's tragic because your job should be to let people know what's happening in the world.
That's
the actual
that's
fact.
What I hope I do.
No, you don't. The media. I mean, that's
Are
the
you
problem.
independent?
What do you mean independent?
Are you with BBC? Who are you with?
No, I work with BBC. But
Oh my God! So you are the worst.
You told me.
You know,
See, there you go. He
hang
told
on.
me you're independent.
He is independent.
He's independent. So he misled
So
you.
he's making a living.
Let me just tell you something. This country is in a lot of trouble with the European Union. We've lost our rights. We cannot speak freely. People got followed here we're supposed to be in a democratic country. Okay? People got followed from the station. They got approached by police at the station. What kind of country are we living in when
Are you
people...
blaming the EU for that?
The EU, do you not know what the EU is about? Do you have any clue about how it runs? Who runs it? Do you know how to get rid of Schultz or Tusk? Do you know how to get them out of office?
With difficulty, I'd say.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Now, how is that a democracy? Because in a democracy, you elect people to represent you, right? And if they do a bad job, you elect somebody else, you get them out of office. These people are in there for good, and they make decisions on our behalf. How much do you think they care about the British people?
But all I was asking was, do you think that the fact you're being followed here is related to the EU?
The whole thing, the whole agenda of all the cameras, the spying on people, getting people's information, this is the problem. Wait, this is the problem. Kiefer Hofstadt is they want us to give up sovereignty. Even Merkel talked about us giving up sovereignty.
You don't give up your sovereignty like that.
What do you think?
What do you think about giving up sovereignty?
I thought the reason why we voted against it was because everyone didn't want to give up sovereignty. So that's why we're leaving the EU.
But this government, we voted 2.5 years ago to leave. 2.5 years we voted, and we were promised that the next day he would do Article 50. And what did he do? He walked out, and he left it, and he got a Remainer.
Who's he? Oh, Cameron.
Don't you know?
Right? He promised it. Listen to me. Just wait. Let me just finish this. He is very...
Thanks for that. Can you give me a better one? Oh, I have a tongue out.
David Cameron deceived us. Okay?
Give me a better
Did he not say that he would leave? He would do Article 50 the day after. So why is it trying to be overturned now? We're not getting Brexit. Brexit was leave or stay. Leave.
So for you, this march is about Brexit. It's about that anger, right? I'm trying to get a picture.
It's all attached, okay? Because with Brexit, with the EU comes the dictatorship from the European Union. We don't make our own laws. We have to follow what laws the EU gives us. All the rules and regulations are EU. It doesn't matter whether you're in a small shop or a big shop. You have to comply with some regulations that don't apply to you, and you can't challenge them. Nothing is challengeable. Nobody can change anything. From here, they tried 55 times. The British government tried to say no to a decision, to a rule. And 55 times they were refused. No, denied. You have your Prime Minister going over there saying, look, let's make a deal. I'm going to be putting this vote to the people. At least let me tell them that I can, limit the numbers coming in. And what did they tell him? Bye-bye. And Theresa May...
I've tried.
You tried?
Have you read the Maastricht Treaty, the Lisbon Treaty, the Barcelona Treaty? Do you know the Barcelona Declaration? Do you know the UN Migration Pact?
I'm not, but I don't...
You are a citizen here.
Yeah, no, I get that, but we voted to leave. I get that.
you say
So what
we.
I'm interested in is what this is about now. Because
Yeah,
in a sense, the arguments have already been made, haven't they, about the EU?
What about? No, but why can't you listen? Why don't you take it in? Why are you determined? Why? Well, it's for justice. There's no justice in the country, right? Everything is, this is what, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? Everything sounds like a
Sorry, the
conspiracy theory,
angle's
unless it's
terrible.
true. The justice, there's no justice. There's a two-tier legal system. It's all, you hide the Islamic attacks. You hide.
How do
You
you hide
hide
the Islamic
because you
attacks?
call it something else. You say it's somebody with mental health issues, or somebody with this, somebody. You don't want to say the name. You don't like to put
That's
the.
just not true. They report
Well, no,
the
it
names
is
of-
true. It is true. See, now the fact that
I've worked as a journalist for 20 years, and every time an attack happens of anyone, the first thing you want to know is who did it.
What's
And
the
so then
first
you go
thing-
and search them.
You
try
wanna
and
go to
find
my
their
town?
name,
You're
where
lying,
they're
You're
from, what
lying
they
now.
do.
You're lying.
Wait,
Try
am I-
to touch
You
the
are
line.
lying. You're deceiving, and you are absolutely a disgrace to the British people. People pay taxpayer money for the license, and you sit there and you propagandize for the
All I
government.
can say is, all I
That's
can
what
do
you
is
do.
tell you
It's
what
just-
I
you
do
know how
from my
much I
perspective.
You want to
despise
come
you
to
people.
Boston,
I
Lincolnshire?
am so ashamed. You used to be.
I've been to Boston, but yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, you want to go to Boston, Lincolnshire? We have murders every second, third month. And where are they reported in the news? Where
Never.
are they reported anywhere?
Yep.
We even had a gang-style killing where they drilled through someone's
God.
knees, drilled through his eyes, beat him up and set him on fire. Was that in the mainstream media? No.
What about the
See,
soldier
you've
that got?
never heard of
What
it?
about the soldier
No, I
that got
haven't.
run over by a jihadi? You did
This is
everything
why
you
the
could to
Iranians-
cover that up. He was in the pub, 21-year-old man, soldier, in the pub. He was surrounded by Asians because he talked about his tour. The guy, he went outside. When he was outside, one of them got in his car and drove at 50 miles an hour and mowed him down. Okay? What was that called? What was that called? Do you even know about it?
I don't.
There you
But
go.
It may
there
be
you go.
because I haven't
There
followed
you
it.
go.
I
A
don't know what
targeted
you're
attack
talking
on a
about.
soldier, British soldier, like Lee Rigby.
Right. Oh, well, I
Okay.
do know about that. Yes, I
Well,
do know about that.
well, how can you? Yeah, you got beheaded in the street.
No, of course I know about Lee Rigby. I'm talking about the other one. Yes, I do know about
Josh,
that. Yes.
you don't know about him.
Yes, I do.
So you do know about him. So why do you do what you can to cover it up? The
Well,
truth.
I'm not.
You don't talk about jihad. You don't talk about a political. The police do
Look at her.
everything they can to deny the truth.
Can I
okay?
ask what why it
disservice?
says
A disservice to the British people.
British Broadcasting Caliphate? What's that about?
No, I didn't know.
Who is?
What I didn't know was that Based Welshman was behind me and he held up a T-shirt with BBC and underneath it says the British Broadcasting Caliphate. I didn't. I was wondering where she came up with that because I didn't see him. Holding. People were coming behind, holding signs up, which I didn't see because I wasn't looking behind me. Woohoo!
in control? Who makes the decisions? Right? Islam. It's a Sharia.
What
we have
decisions do they make?
Sharia law. We have blasphemy law. Right? Hate speech. That's straight from Sharia. That's straight from the Quran. Okay. You are not allowed to criticize Islam. Muslims are not allowed to criticize Islam, but we're not either. Right? What happened to what's his name? Way back when with the book.
Salman Rushdie.
Salman Rushdie.
Yay,
Now
she got
he
it.
was given a fatwa. He's a British citizen.
By the way, that's Busker there. He looks like he's he looks like he's being an Antifa, but he was just covering his face because he was a bit worried about. He was worried about being picked up. Okay, there you go. Right, yay, democratic Britain, free Britain. Oh no, he's worried because of saying, "Excuse me, Anna. Can you answer my questions, please?" How
And the
ridiculous.
government say, excuse me, you don't put a threat on one of our
Yes, the
people's lives
government
over
did
a
say
damn
that.
book.
Yes, the
Over
government
a
did
book.
say that. The government did
Oh,
say
yeah.
that.
No,
And the
they-
media supported him,
And
and
what
everybody.
happened? And what? He's had to have protection ever since. Sharia is in control. We cannot speak about Islam. The internet, if I mention a Muslim or Islam, I get blocked. It's very sinister. The money is
Yeah.
what controls the world. And
So
right
that-
now,
and
Islam,
that's to do with the
Saudi,
EU as well.
oil, well, they're globalists. Okay, do you know about the Walter Holstein? Walter Holstein?
Who's Walter Holstein?
If you listen to Angela Merkel when she gave her speech to the European Union,
Yeah.
she praised him. He was the first president of the European Union.
Right.
Do you know who he was?
No.
He was a Nazi. He was a legitimate card-carrying Nazi. He put the blueprint together for one-state Germany, Europe,
So Angela Merkel was praising a Nazi.
praising a Nazi. And do you know what happened on YouTube? The person translated it first. When you played it back later, they cut out the part, they blocked out the bit where she mentioned his name. The person didn't translate it. You try and listen to it in German, and you'll hear her say, Walter Holstein, 50 years ago, Walter Holstein, she praised him. And it's so sinister.
Are
And
you?
the censorship is so sickening. I'm telling you now that
Are you doing that? Are you mentioning Holstein? I tell you what, it was a real shock to me.
nobody can get a live signal here on their phones. I've had to get a signal from outside the country because of the jamming machines. People think we live in
your techno ability. I definitely wouldn't know how to do that.
Well, I want to get the truth out. I want to get the truth because the BBC has let down the nation. You used to represent, this country so brilliantly, and it's now turned into one big propaganda machine, pro-EU. I mean, look at the state of the country, right?
It's interesting because all the Remainers attack us and say that we're so pro-Leave and we're a disaster and we've
Well, of
let
course
them
they
down.
do. But, you
I've
asked them...
always felt that
Okay, let me
maybe
tell you
if you
something.
get attacked by both sides, it's okay.
Come on. If you listen, there's no way you're objectively pro-Brexit. All you talk about is the sky's going to fall in, the banks are going to collapse, the food... they did a stupid...
We're just reporting what other people say.
No, you're
when we
not.
report that.
You don't. You report opinion. You don't report the news. You don't report fact. You report some kind of statistic for the ex-MPs, anybody in business. There's so many jobs over there. Everybody knows it, and it's so sad that the people, all they want is justice.